Hello, here's your recap video. So the first thing was on the surds. We had a denominator, or the number on the bottom, which is a surd itself. So what we want to do is get rid of that. Can you remember what it was called? That's a horrible name, I'm afraid. It's Rationalize the Denominator. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply the bottom by itself, because it's going to multiply the square root by itself. It's going to get rid of that square root. So doing that is going to give us root 3 on the bottom there, and we're going to do the same on top. Can you remember why that was? Why do we put the same number on top? Well, it's because we need to have a number 1 there. It needs to be multiplied by 1, otherwise it will change the value of it. Okay, so on top we're going to have 6 times root 3, on the bottom we're going to have 3, and then that's going to divide to 2. 6 divided by 3 is 2, times by root 3. That's it. So that was the final example that I hadn't shown you for surds. Rationalizing the denominator. Horrible name. Okay, so now we move on to fractions. How to add them, take them away, times and divide. So just a quick run through. So half plus 2/5 in this case. What we're going to do is we're going to multiply the bottom, so 2 times 5, giving the 10. And then we're going to cross multiply, so 5 times 1 is 5. And adding that to 2 times 2, is 4. And that makes 9 altogether. So 1/2 plus 2/5 is 9/10. Subtraction is the same, the only difference is going to be that we're going to take away instead. So tenths again, this time the cross multiplied by 5 minus 4. So it's 1/10. To multiply is the simplest thing of all, just multiply across. So it's actually what we did here. This is a multiplication of fractions if you think about it, because this is, so that's equal to 1. It's still the same technique. 6 times root 3 is 6 root 3, root 3 times root 3 is 3. So to multiply fractions, same thing. 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 4 is 12. And then, of course, we'll ask ourselves, can that be simplified? Because it's a less than 1 type of division. And the answer is a half. What you can do also, it's a bit more advanced, but this is just something to be aware of. Is that you can the computer's not working. Oh, there we go. We can spot there that there are 3's here, and so they'll cancel out, because if the whole thing's on top, they're dividing by each other, so they'll cancel out there. So that reduces it to 2/4. And then we notice that 2/4 can't be simplified because 2 goes into both 2 and 4. So 2 into 2 goes once, 2 into 4 goes twice, and we can get a half just through simplifying the question, never mind the answer. You don't have to do that, that's just something you can do if you spot it. If you don't spot it doesn't matter, just multiply them and then simplify afterwards. It just sometimes makes the simplification easier if you've got a smaller number to deal with. And sometimes you didn't get the answer yourself, like in this example, we got to half, and then that actually is the answer. So whichever way you want to do it, up to you. Division, 2/3 divided by 3/4. So here, division is a pain, dividing a fraction by another fraction. How many times does 3/4 go into 2/3? And it's very difficult to imagine without drawing it out and seeing what it looks like. And you can see 3/4 is more than 2/3. So this is a less than 1 division of 2 less than 1 divisions. So very tricky. But a simpler way of doing it is just to do the opposite of division. So change it into multiplication, because that's so easy. So to achieve that, we just reverse the sign. So 2/3, we'll change that to multiplication. And because we reverse the sign, we're going to reverse the number that follows, the reciprocal of 3/4, 4/3. The 2 reverses make a forward, and it ends up being the right answer. And as you can see, the answer is less than 1. 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 3 is 9. So it's not surprising we get less than 1 here, because 3/4 is bigger than 2/3, so the answer must be less than 1, and that's what we get. 8/9. There you go. Okay, so that was just a very brief run through. That's not something that you've had any difficulty with. I'll send you some homework alongside with it, and I'll see you next week.